Tuesday, March the 17th. Common sense for the American people. Thanks for joining us here on Salem. You know, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is often talked about as a moderate Democrat with national ambitions. But his latest move in Kentucky is raising some eyebrows. On Friday, he vetoed a bill that would have opted Kentucky into a federal tax credit scholarship program that would bring more education dollars into the state without taking any money away from public schools. In his veto message, Beshear argued the focus should be on funding public education, not expanding alternatives. But critics say that misses the point, since the program is funded through federal tax credits and would support things like tutoring and scholarships for Kentucky students. What does this tell us about Andy Beshear's political positioning and about the broader fight over school choice? Here to discuss the program that did come from the big, beautiful bill and the myths about it being pushed by Beshear is Brian Jodice. He's the National Press Secretary for the American Federation for Children. Brian, welcome into the Scott Jennings Show. You saw Beshear's veto message. Let's start here. Is the Kentucky legislature poised to override this veto and get Kentucky opted in to Trump's tax credit plan here?
Yeah, Scott, good to be with you, and it's a great question. We saw the Kentucky House take action yesterday on Monday to override that veto. The Senate stands poised to do the same. They're back in session within the hour here this afternoon, and so hopefully they'll come through here and step in and step up and do what's right for Kentucky families, parents, taxpayers as well. I mean, this really is a no-brainer to get your state on board for this.
Let's just dispel one of the myths that Andy Beshear tells about the tax credit program. He says this hurts public schools, that it takes money away from public schools. This is a canard he has thrown out for years when battling against school choice in Kentucky. For the record, does this tax credit program take any money away from public schools? Any tax money? Right. Does it leave public schools at all, for the record?
You know, sometimes you hear these statements. I kind of want to do a Scott Jennings patented sort of look to camera here, as you're so apt to do when I see you on CNN. No, of course not. What we're talking about is donor-driven support, philanthropic support, taxpayers donating to scholarship granting organizations in states that choose to opt in. Those resources then go towards kids in private school, but in traditional public school as well. So it really can help kids across makes and models. So this idea that it diverts funds away or it takes public dollars away, it just isn't true. You're talking about private donors giving resources to help kids, ideally in their home state. And that's what you've got the opportunity to see happen, not just in Kentucky, but in states across the country. 27 have opted in this point, including Governor Beshear's colleague, Democrat Governor Jared Polis in Colorado, who opted Colorado in for this as well. So it really is the right thing, and it's in line with what the vast majority of Americans want.
Brian, why do you think Democrats like Andy Beshear are so comfortable lying to the American people and to the people of Kentucky about programs like this? Are they that beholden to teachers' unions that they feel like they would rather lie to their constituents than stand up to teachers' unions?
Like it. Yeah, it's a great question, Scott. It certainly feels like him. I think the Wall Street Journal kind of nailed it with this headline this week. Beshear bows to the teachers' unions. I mean, they're singing from the same sheet of music here across the board. Anytime you hear, backdoor voucher schemes or diverting public money away, you know where that comes from, right? It's right off of the talking points memo that must be circulated from the teachers' unions. They have such a grip. I mean, you're up against what is essentially $3 billion a year being funneled through the collective big schooling teachers union. So look, it's a lot to combat, but when the truth comes to light and people can see the way this program is actually built, how it intends to work, you can see through that. So maybe we could just try to dial the rhetoric back a little bit and look to the way in which these SGOs can serve kids across different makes and models. I mean, we talked about it. Yes, they can help kids with private school tuition, but they can also help with things like tutoring, technology services, can hone in and help kids with special needs. So it really is a great opportunity. But look, the unions have such a stranglehold on some of these politicians. It's hard to get them to focus on what the truth is. That's why we've got to continue to share it here like you're doing.
Yeah, we have about 30 seconds here. I mean, the issue is really about choices and opportunities and options. And Democrats like Andy Beshear think the only option is to let the teachers' unions and the union bosses run your kids' school into the ground. Republicans and conservatives, and even a few Democrats say, no, we need more options for kids who have different kinds of needs for learning environments and so on and so forth. It is an interesting debate that is unfolding. I actually interviewed Rahm Emanuel on this show yesterday. he was out pushing the Mississippi Miracle, the Mississippi model, and saying states need to adopt this. I asked him point blank, are you going to be able to stand up to the teachers' unions? He indicated that he might be tough enough to do so, but it doesn't sound like Andy Beshear is that way. Brian Jodice is the National Press Secretary for the American Federation for Children. Brian, quickly, where do we find you on the internet?
Yeah, federationforchildren.org, or go to federalscholarships.com. You can see a lot more about the Educational Freedom Tax Credit.
Thanks a lot, Brian. It's the Scott Jennings Show on Salem. When we come back, we talk to the spokesperson for the Israeli police on the ground in Israel about what's happening under the rocket attacks. Stay with us.